Hey guys, today I want to talk about the white elephant in the room, the difference between Americans and Filipinos. And it's a huge difference in that most Filipinos have a lot more compassion, humility. They're just a lot nicer people. They're happier. But the number one difference is that they're more positive. They don't give up. If they fail on something, they look at it like, okay, that's just a lesson. I have to try harder. And a lot of Americans tend to kind of give up at that point. You know, the generation that we grew up in was a lot like the Filipinos, and the Filipinos probably took that off a lot of Americans from being around Americans back during World War II, from being mixed in with people, seeing that they had that I'm gonna finish this till I'm done type of attitude, you know. And our fathers and our grandfathers were a lot like that. And today's generation has kind of lost that. They just throw in the towel a lot quicker. They don't have that humility, that patience, that there's something different, you know, about the Americans of today and the Americans of yesterday. And Filipinos, one thing that they have is they care for people. They laugh a lot more. They're a lot more fun. Americans, as we age, we get a little crusty, let's face it. Most Americans that I'm with are fun to be around, like when they're amongst mixed company, but you know, sometimes when they're alone with them, you get to see a different side of them, and if they get crusty, or if they're alone for too long and they come out of being alone, they're kind of standoffish towards other expats and other people because they've been alone for so long. We get a lot of people over here sometimes that live alone, that don't have girlfriends, and they get kind of crusty sometimes. And I see that with a lot of the expats over here. And it's just something I think that happens, and then they come out of it, and then they're okay. But one thing, you know, Filipinos get like a bad rap because of the dating sites and stuff like that. People think that everybody is a scammer and everybody's a con artist over here. And yeah, there is that problem over here. But we also have that problem back in the United States. So why is it any different over here? We have women over there that are con artists, and you know, they marry you for your money and then they divorce you or what have you. We all talk about that. Everybody knows it. And over here, you kind of have that problem too. But if you stay with, I think most of the women over here, if you get married over here and you stay over here, she's going to stay with you probably for life. That's, you know, percentage wise, comparing it back to the US, you have a better chance of your marriage working if you stay here versus if you take the girl back to the US. That's one of the things that's different, because once they start getting Americanized, they lose all those good qualities that they have over here. Now, do all the girls have that quality? No, they don't. I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just talking about the vast majority. I'm not saying everyone's like that, because they're not like that. There are girls that have issues and problems over here, and we all know about them. But the majority of people over here, and I'm talking about just men and women, that their positivity is what carries them through. You know, whether they're poor, wealthy, middle class, or whatever, I find that the average Filipino is way happier than the average American. And in so many ways, yes, they still want to strive higher. They want to strive better. They want to be wealthier. They want to own a house. They want all the things that we want, okay? Or we had. Because a lot of us, when we come over here, we gave up all that to give up our lives for coming over here to have the money to succeed over here and to take care of us in our, you know, elder years, because we are elderly. You know, once we reach that 60 mark, we're you know, we're considered elderly, if you want to call it that. You know, senior citizens. A lot of guys don't like to be called that. A lot of guys over here, they hate being called senior citizens. They don't want to be called that, whether they're 60 or 70 or even older than that. They hate being called senior citizens. But I notice over here that a lot of even the older people over here, they have that positivity. You know, they don't have this negativity that a lot of us have. And since I've come over here, I'm big on positivity. I'm big about, you know, being happy, and I try to make my world happy. I try to surround myself with things that make me happy. You know, things that make me who I am, that show my personality. And a lot of guys don't do that, and it's like a psychological thing that, if you decorate your home in the way you want to have it, and it shows your personality, you're going to be much happier living there than if you move into a place and it's not you. A lot of guys, they don't really care about their home that much. And I do care about my home. I care about, it being part of me. It's an extension of me. And a lot of you guys need to make sure that your home is an extension of you. That it's comfortable, it's happy, and you're happy with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever there, and you're happy in that neighborhood, because that's an extension of you. And if that something in that group of things that I just mentioned is not working right, you need to fix it. And I think Filipinos, no matter where they are, they can be happy. I don't know how they do that, because it's, for me, if I'm not in the surroundings that make me happy, I'm not happy. I don't know. It's their psyche is a lot different, probably because they come from poverty, whereas we come from a place that you could work harder and pretty easily make more money. It depended on your psyche, on hey, are you willing to work 2 jobs? Are you willing to go out there and strive to better yourself and make more money? A lot of people aren't successful in the United States for one reason or another, whether it be mental, educational, or what have you. But over here, in our retirement years, this is one of the reasons why I like renting cheaper places over here, because it gives me that money to be happier, to spend money on things that I want to do. And it's if I was out there and I was living in a gated community and I was paying anywhere from $350 all the way up to $1,200 a month for a house, would it make me happier? I'm not sure it would. I don't think it would, because it wouldn't give me the money for the things that I want. That I like buying things like harmonicas, or like you can see up there, I got the cigar box guitars and the guitar on the wall, and I like buying something each month that makes me happy. I put aside a little bit of my budget each month to say, you know what, I'm going to buy this here, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to fix this here, and that's an extension of yourself, and it kind of gives you that positivity that we need. And one thing I notice is that people that are positive, more things happen to them for the good than for the bad. And it's like the power of positivity. There's a lot of truth to it. Is it like a magical thing? No, it's not. I think it's just that people that are more positive will strive to better themselves, to make things happen, they just make it happen. And it kind of attracts it a little bit to it. It attracts more positive people around you. If you are around negative people all the time, that juju kind of goes up right on you, and after a while you kind of pick up some of that negativity, because that person starts bothering you. They start bothering you. That negativity pours out on you, and it's you need to keep yourself away from that, or don't let too much of it get into your life. If you have a friend or somebody that hangs around you that's really negative all the time, don't let that get in on your life too much. And I think a lot of Filipinos are like that, because they're always hanging around mostly positive people, and I think it keeps that positivity going, because it's part of their culture. And in the United States, it's not part of our culture. I mean, when we're divisive, we're different. I think the Philippines pulls together when a person gets elected over here or something like that. And I don't like to talk too much politics, but this is a good example, so I'm just going to mention this, is that they all go behind them, whereas in the United States we tend not to. And politics in general in the United States has ripped apart the United States, because people will not cross that aisle to make things work anymore like they did back in the Reagan years. During the Reagan years, Reagan kind of took the country and made it work. You can say what you want about Reagan, but he did bring the Democrats and the Republicans together back then, and I'm using that as an example of people, not for politics. So I don't want all this hate mail in my comment section. But what I'm saying is that, that made the country turn positive. And over here, the Philippines is a very positive country. Do a lot of positive things happen to the Philippines? Probably not, because of the poverty and stuff, and the players that surround the Philippines. Like China. China's a big drag on this country. Fortunately, they're friends with the U.S. now, and they have these treaties and stuff that kind of protect them, and it kind of brings back that positivity. It makes people feel good and safe and everything here. But I want to really focus on that as Americans, I think we need to focus on being more positive, having more humility here, having that attitude of helping people and asking if you're okay, checking on your neighbors and stuff like that. We don't do that anymore in the United States. A lot of people don't even know who their neighbors are, and they really don't care. And in some cases, they even hate their neighbors for one reason or another. Over here, your neighbors are kind of like your family in a way, in a lot of ways. Do you have problems with your neighbors? Yeah, of course you do sometimes. But I mean, overall, I think most people get along in their neighborhoods and love their neighbors. And sometimes things happen. And after a while, if one person leaves or something like that, that was the negative drag on the neighborhood or near your home or whatever, when they leave, usually things pick up and they go back to normal, and that hatred or problem goes away, because the positivity just kind of comes back into the area again when that negative drag leaves, that person that was negative. And I've seen that with a few people that have left here. Once they've left, it kind of lifted the neighborhood. I've seen that in social circles here. I've seen that among friends groups here, that when a negative person leaves, it lifts that group up a lot, and it helps that group. So, and that is one of the big differences between Americans and Filipinos, though, that it's the positivity. I mean, I know as we age, most expats are kind of cranky, a little bit in their own way. Not all of us, but we are a little cranky. We're stuck in our own ways, It takes 10 to 12 weeks to change a habit. If you have a bad habit, it takes 10 to 12 weeks to change that habit. And becoming positive takes about 10 to 12 weeks. I'm a pretty positive person. I've been dragged down into the depths of hell before, with different things. I suffer from depression sometimes too, but I do try to keep positivity, and I still suffer from anxiety and depression, and it's a part of me, but I battle it and I fight it, and I battle it and I fight it. And part of that is because I have insomnia. Now, anybody with insomnia knows, I go through cycles, like I don't sleep for like 4 or 5 days, and then all of a sudden I crash and burn, I sleep and I'm good for 2 days. And I try to, when I wake up on that morning, I'm like, okay, let's keep the positivity going, because I've had some rest. But as the days progress, I get kind of cranky, and you don't want to be around me too much sometimes. But I try to keep that positivity when I'm talking to people, and try to keep positive all the time. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about that. I think it's important. It's something to focus on for all of us. Is be positive, have a lot more humility, like the Filipinos around here. The Filipinos here are extremely different than most people in the world. They're known as like the happiest people in the world, I believe. I think there was a poll or something like that, and people said Filipinos were like the happiest, have the most humility, and a lot of other things too. They were voted as that in some poll, because it's been quoted several times in the comment section. So I'm just quoting what they said. Okay. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show. God bless, guys.